Robert Bobby Klein was a 53-year-old man whose heart felt heavy with loss. Just a few months ago, he had shared his life with his beloved wife, Sarah. They had built a warm home together filled with love, laughter, and countless memories. Bobby often smiled when he thought of their adventures, exploring the world hand in hand, cooking dinner together, or simply enjoying quiet evenings on the couch. They cherished small moments like sharing ice cream on hot summer days and dancing in the living room to their favorite songs. Sarah had been Bobby's best friend, partner, and source of joy. Their connection was special. They understood each other in ways that made every day brighter. Together, they crafted a life filled with dreams and plans for the future. But everything changed when Sarah fell ill. The vibrant laughter and playful banter faded as they faced the daunting reality of her sickness. Bobby stood by her side through every hospital visit and challenging night, holding her hand tightly as they navigated the unknown. When Sarah passed away, it felt as if Bobby's world crumbled around him. The love they had shared now echoed in an empty space where she used to be. Every corner of their home reminded him of her presence. The scent of her favorite perfume lingered in the air, and her voice seemed to float through the rooms like a whisper. Despite his grief, Bobby tried to continue living. He surrounded himself with supportive friends and family who cared for him deeply but struggled to lift the weight from his heart. He found himself often reminiscing about happier times, yet every memory was tinged with pain. The thought of hearing their favorite song, "Strangers in the Night," felt unbearable. It was a reminder of what he had lost, the love that had filled his life to the brim with happiness. For Bobby, "Strangers in the Night" was more than just a song. It was the soundtrack to his love story with Sarah. He could still vividly recall their first dance at their wedding, swaying to the smooth melodies of Frank Sinatra. The way Sarah smiled up at him, her eyes sparkling with joy, made that moment feel magical. They had spent countless evenings listening to the song, embracing each other, and reminiscing about their journey together. It epitomized their connection and the beautiful serendipity that brought them together as soulmates. However, since Sarah's passing, hearing that song became an unbearable weight on Bobby's heart. The sweet notes that once filled him with warmth and nostalgia now plunged him into a deep sadness. Every time it played on the radio or in a public space, Bobby felt as if he were being pulled back into memories he longed to hold onto yet couldn't bear to revisit. The song took him to moments of laughter and love, but it also reminded him of the gaping void Sarah had left behind. Bobby often found himself avoiding places where he might hear it. He would change the station on the radio, or leave a cafe if it began playing. The pain of remembering Sarah's absence was too much for him to handle. He wanted to celebrate their love but felt trapped in his grief. As he sat alone in his thoughts, Bobby wrestled with feelings of guilt for not being able to cherish the song as a reminder of happy times instead of allowing it to bring him sorrow. In his heart he knew that "Strangers in the Night" symbolized their beautiful journey together, but right now, it felt like an echo of what once was. Bobby hoped that one day he could listen to it without tears and remember not just his loss but also how profoundly he had loved and been loved in return. One afternoon, Bobby found himself in a small cafe that played soft music to create a cozy atmosphere. He had hoped to distract himself with a cup of coffee and the bustle of people around him, but then he heard the unmistakable strains of "Strangers in the Night" float through the air. The familiar melody sent a jolt through him, as if it reached into his chest and grabbed hold of his heart. As Sinatra's smooth voice began to fill the cafe, Bobby felt panic rise within him. His stomach twisted into knots, and he could feel his breath quickening. Memories of Sarah flooded his mind, her laughter, the way she would dance with him in their living room, and how they would hum along to this very song while dreaming about their future together. In an instant, that joyful tune transformed into a sharp reminder of her absence. Overwhelmed by grief, Bobby glanced around the room, searching for an escape. He stood up abruptly, nearly knocking over his chair as he made his way towards the exit. His instinct was to flee, to run from the memories that seemed to close in on him like a thick fog. Tears started welling up in his eyes as he fought to push them back. He didn't want anyone to see his pain. Just as he reached for the door handle, something stopped him. For a split second, it felt like time froze, and he heard Sinatra's voice gently beckoning him not to go. It was as if Frank himself was speaking directly to him, reminding him that this moment wasn't just about sadness but also about all the beautiful times he had shared with Sarah. Bobby hesitated, then slowly turned back around. With each note that played, he felt both sorrow and gratitude wash over him, a complex mix that left him vulnerable yet oddly comforted. He sat back down at his table and covered his face in his hands, tears spilling freely as he allowed himself to grieve openly in front of strangers who watched in respectful silence. As the haunting melody of "Strangers in the Night" continued to fill the cafe, something extraordinary happened. At that precise moment, as if the universe had conspired for Bobby's heart to hear what it needed, Frank Sinatra's voice seemed to break through the chords of music and speak directly to him. "Don't go," he sang gently, his words enveloping Bobby like a warm embrace. Bobby blinked through his tears, feeling as though Sinatra was not just singing but reaching out to him personally. It was surreal, as if the singer understood the depth of his sorrow and wanted to guide him back toward hope instead of despair. "This one's not about what you lost, it's about what you had," Sinatra continued, each note resonating within Bobby's heart like a soft reminder of love rather than solely a symbol of loss. In that moment, Bobby felt an unexpected connection to the song and its message. It wasn't merely a performance, it became a conversation between him and Sinatra. The line echoed in his mind, repurposing his grief into something more meaningful. Memories of dancing with Sarah flooded him, her laughter, her warmth, all the unfulfilled plans they had shared. Each recollection now held a different weight. While he missed her deeply, he realized how fortunate he had been to experience such love. With every passing second, Bobby's heart began to shift. Instead of feeling crushed by what was gone, he was filled with gratitude for what they had enjoyed together during their time on Earth. He allowed himself to savor those memories rather than escape them. As Sinatra's voice swelled around him like a comforting blanket, Bobby's tears transformed from sorrow into catharsis, a release of pent-up emotions that cleared space for fond recollections. Drawing in a shaky breath, he leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes for a moment, letting the music wash over him. The crowd remained silent around him, witnessing this intimate revelation taking place as Bobby found solace in Sinatra's timeless words. As Sinatra's soothing voice continued to echo in the cafe, something profound shifted within Bobby. The initial wave of sadness that had threatened to overwhelm him began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of clarity and understanding. Sinatra's gentle reminder that the song was not solely about what Bobby had lost but rather about what he had experienced with Sarah resonated deeply with him. In that moment, Bobby recalled how Sarah had always encouraged him to see the beauty in their shared moments, even the small ones. They would laugh at silly jokes, share cups of coffee, and talk about their dreams while this very song played softly in the background. Each memory he grasped was like a beam of light breaking through his grief. The realization that he could honor Sarah's memory without being consumed by sorrow was a turning point for Bobby. He sat up straighter in his chair, taking deep breaths as he reflected on all the love they had built together. Yes, he missed her every day, but their love had been a treasure that shaped who he was, a treasure worth celebrating. As Bobby listened to the lyrics with new ears, he felt a shift from mourning what was gone to cherishing what had been. "This one's not about what you lost, it's about what you had," Sinatra's voice echoed again in his mind. It wasn't just words, it felt like a lifeline, guiding him toward acceptance. Tears still blurred his vision, but they were now mixed with gratitude instead of solely sadness. Bobby felt empowered by his memories, not trapped by them. Each recollection became a piece of a beautiful mosaic that represented their life together. With newfound resolve, he realized that he could carry Sarah's spirit with him as he moved forward in life. The song transformed into an anthem of love rather than a reminder of loss. As Sinatra reached the song's final notes, Bobby closed his eyes and allowed himself to smile, embracing both the joy and pain of his memories while letting love illuminate his path ahead. As Bobby sat back down, the weight of his emotions enveloped him like a heavy blanket, but this time, it felt different. Sure, sorrow still lingered in the corners of his heart, but he also experienced a swell of nostalgia and warmth when he recalled his moments with Sarah. The memories that had once been painful now glimmered like precious jewels, reminding him of the vibrant love they had shared. He could almost hear her laughter reverberating through the quiet cafe, as if she were there beside him, encouraging him to embrace those happy moments. The warmth of their early morning coffee conversations and tender evenings spent sharing dreams flooded his mind, each detail sharp and vivid. Bobby's heart swelled with the bittersweet realization that while he had lost Sarah, he still carried the profound joy of her love within him. Tears streamed down his face, but they were no longer just tears of loss. They transformed into tears of appreciation for everything Sarah had added to his life. He felt a sense of lightness, as if each tear was washing away the heaviness of grief that had settled in so long ago. Bobby closely pondered Sinatra's heartfelt words, now feeling an urgency to celebrate the rich tapestry of their lives rather than dwell solely on her absence. In that moment of vulnerability, something inside him shifted, the urge to retreat from reminders dissipated. Instead, Bobby realized that keeping Sarah's spirit alive meant embracing every memory he had, from silly inside jokes to quiet evenings under the stars. It meant letting love guide him through his pain rather than allowing that pain to trap him in darkness. As the song carried on, Bobby summoned a small smile through his tears. He understood now that remembering Sarah didn't mean surrendering to sorrow. It was about reliving the beauty of the love they had shared. He sat a little taller in his chair, filled with gratitude and a renewed sense of purpose, ready to carry Sarah's memory forward as part of a brighter journey ahead. As Bobby wiped his tears and allowed the music to envelop him, an uncanny silence took over the cafe. The usual hum of conversation faded into a respectful quiet, as patrons became acutely aware of the emotional scene unfolding before them. It was as if the whole room had collectively paused, holding its breath in reverence for Bobby's vulnerability. From the corner table, an elderly couple exchanged glances filled with understanding. They had experienced loss too and recognized the deep sorrow etched on Bobby's face. In that moment, their hearts ached not only for Bobby but also for the love they had lost long ago. Nearby, a young woman sat with tears in her eyes. She remembered her own cherished moments, prompting her to consider how fragile life could be. Others in the cafe leaned closer, drawn into Bobby's journey. They were struck by the raw emotion radiating from him, not just his sorrow but also his emerging hope and the beauty found in memories. Sinatra's timeless voice wrapped around everyone, binding them together through shared feelings of love and loss. In that sacred space, the audience became united, connected through empathy and the haunting melody that filled the air. Bobby could sense this connection as he let Sinatra's words resonate within him. It was powerful to realize that he wasn't alone in his grief. Strangers around him were finding resonance in his experience. Their silent witness transformed what could have been a solitary moment of despair into a collective acknowledgement of life's triumphs and trials. As Bobby released his tears once more, they no longer felt like pure sadness but rather a healing process sparked by the shared emotions of those around him. Each tear was accompanied by silent support from fellow cafe-goers who recognized that grief could also carry sparks of gratitude for love once felt. This poignant moment seemed to bridge gaps between lives touched by loss, showing how music has an incredible ability to foster connection even among strangers. Bobby breathed deeply, grateful not just for Sarah's love but for the transformative power of empathy that surrounded him as he embraced both joy and sorrow. A reminder that love continues to echo through every heart it touches. The story of Bobby Klein embodies the intricate dance between love and loss, illustrating the complex nature of grief and the journey toward healing. While losing someone can feel overwhelming and isolating, Bobby's experience reminds us that love can continue to thrive even after a loved one is gone. Through his emotional turmoil, we see that grief often comes in waves, sometimes crashing down with raw intensity, while at other moments, it recedes and allows for warm reflections of cherished memories. Bobby's connection to Strangers in the Night showcases how music can evoke powerful emotions, serving as both a trigger for pain and a catalyst for healing. The song, which once haunted him with memories of Sarah's absence, becomes a vessel for gratitude as he learns to embrace their shared history rather than just mourn loss. This transformation highlights the restorative power of memories, how they can shift from a source of sorrow to reminders of joy and warmth. As he sits in the cafe, surrounded by others who share unspoken understanding, Bobby's experience underscores a profound truth. People are often more deeply connected through their collective experiences of love and loss than they realize. The silent acknowledgement among the crowd serves as a testament to how universal these feelings are. Each tear shed is not just Bobby's but resonates with the hearts of many who have faced similar journeys. Ultimately, Bobby learns that love is not confined to physical presence. It endures in the heart and influences how we navigate life's challenges. Holding on to love means allowing it to guide us, inspiring a sense of purpose and hope even in the face of grief. The story reveals that while loss may leave an unfillable void, the love shared creates an eternal bond. Each memory becomes a stepping stone toward healing, paving the way for individuals to carry their loved ones with them as they move forward. In embracing both joy and sorrow, Bobby understands that true love transcends time. It echoes through our hearts, illuminating paths ahead even when shadows linger. As Bobby left the cafe that day, he carried with him not just the weight of his grief but a newfound sense of comfort and hope. The experience had shifted something profound within him. He realized that the love he shared with Sarah could be a guiding light rather than a source of pain. Each memory, once a trigger for sorrow, transformed into a cherished reminder of their time together, a flicker of warmth in the chill of loss. Finding solace in music, Bobby felt empowered to reclaim moments from their past. Instead of feeling trapped by reminders of what he had lost, he began to see those memories as treasures that shaped who he was. This perspective opened pathways for healing, showing him that embracing love did not mean forgetting Sarah. It meant honoring her in every step forward. In the days that followed, Bobby sought out little rituals that connected him to his beloved wife. He revisited places they had explored together, listening to their favorite songs and reflecting on the laughter they shared. Each outing became a celebration of their life, a way to acknowledge her presence even in her absence. He understood now that grief was not linear but rather a journey filled with ups and downs, where joy and sorrow could coexist. Bobby also learned to share these experiences with friends and family who supported him through his healing process. Opening up about his feelings allowed others to connect over their own stories of love and loss, creating a network of empathy that fostered deeper connections. This sense of community reminded Bobby that he was never truly alone on this journey. Countless others walked similar paths, navigating their own heartaches while finding glimmers of hope in cherished memories. As time passed, Bobby grew more confident in carrying Sarah's spirit forward with him. The lessons learned amidst grief equipped him for whatever lay ahead. In honoring her memory and embracing the future, he discovered that love does not fade away. It evolves into something more profound, illuminating life's path through its enduring echoes. In this way, Bobby found solace, realizing that while loss is an inevitable part of life, love remains an everlasting gift that can guide us through even our darkest days.